47 months of promises made and promises kept. It really has. I mean, think about it. 4 years ago, we inherited a military that was hollowed out by devastating budget cuts, an economy that was struggling to break out of the slowest recovery since the Great Depression. Terrorism was on the rise around the world, and we witnessed a steady assault on our most cherished values. But in 3 short years, we rebuilt our military. We revived our economy. We secured our border, supported law enforcement, stood for life and liberty and the Constitution of the United States of America. What an incredible 3 years. And of course, I don't have to tell people here in the Panhandle that it all starts with providing for our national defense. You know, after years of budget cuts that literally left a large portion of our Air Force aircraft on the ground, literally being used as spare parts to keep other aircraft in the air, I'm proud to tell you, not just as your vice president, but as the father of a United States Marine pilot who trained right here in the Panhandle, we are finally giving our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard the support they need to defend this nation. We're doing it. And it's not just about supporting those who serve in uniform, it's about supporting all of you who did serve. In fact, I know there's a whole lot of men and women that wore the uniform of the United States who are with us today. If you're a veteran of our armed forces, would you put your hand in the air and give us a chance to say thank you one more time? Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. You know, when Joe Biden was vice president, America saw years of scandal at the VA that shocked the conscience of the nation. But under President Donald Trump, those days are over. President Trump signed the most sweeping reforms of the VA in 50 years. We fired more than 2,500 VA employees who weren't giving our veterans the care that they earned. And Veterans Choice is now available for every veteran in America. And I mentioned him before, but I'll tell you what, all that we've done for veterans would not have been possible without the strong, experienced leadership of Congressman Neil Dunn on the House Veterans Affairs Committee. Congressman Dunn, thank you for what you're doing for our veterans. So it's about supporting our national defense, supporting all those who serve and did serve. And on the economy, in our first 3 years, after Joe Biden had spent an entire career trying to tax and spend and regulate us back to a growing economy, President Donald Trump created the greatest economy in American history. It's true. And now, in the midst of a global pandemic, Joe Biden wants to raise taxes by $4 trillion. He's got a $2 trillion version of the Green New Deal that would crush American energy and jobs. President Trump, in our first 3 years, we cut taxes across the board for working families and small businesses. We rolled back more federal red tape than any administration in American history. We fought for free and fair trade. We unleashed American energy. And in just 3 years, businesses large and small created 7 million good-paying jobs, including 550,000 jobs right here in the Sunshine State. I mean, Florida saw its lowest unemployment rate in history. And we saw the lowest unemployment ever recorded for African Americans and Hispanic Americans. And wages were rising. across the board, fastest pace in 10 years. And maybe what meant the most to the President and me is wages were rising most rapidly for hardworking, blue-collar Americans. The forgotten men and women of America were forgotten no more. You know, when Joe Biden was vice president, America lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs. And the last president said those jobs were never coming back. I saw he was out on the campaign trail for Joe Biden today. Wish I'd been there to remind him what he said. You remember they lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs, and the last president said, "What magic wand do you have?" Well, we didn't need a magic wand. We just needed President Donald Trump in the White House. 500,000 manufacturing jobs in just 3 years, including nearly 30,000 here in the state of Florida. Manufacturing is back. And when it comes to trade, so important to Florida, our international trade, what we make and what we grow here. You know, y'all deserve to know that when we took office, half of our international trade deficit was with one country, with communist China. It's true. And Joe Biden's been a cheerleader for communist China all along the way. He actually said the rise of China was a positive thing. And he scoffed last year when he said China wasn't even a competitor of America. But under President Donald Trump, we put China on notice. We imposed tariffs on China to protect American jobs, American workers, and American farmers, and we said the era of economic surrender is over. And closer to home, our trading relationship with Mexico and with Canada. You know, you remember all the complaints over the years about NAFTA, and they were well-founded. Out where I come from in the heartland, we literally saw thousands of factories shuttered, and jobs moved south of the border to Mexico and overseas in the 25 years since NAFTA. Democrats used to love to complain about NAFTA, but Joe Biden never lifted a finger to do anything about it. But under the man who wrote The Art of the Deal, we got a way better deal for the American people. NAFTA is gone, and the USMCA is a huge win for Florida and a huge win for American workers. It is. And the contrast continues on the subject of health care. You all remember the disaster of Obamacare, right? You know, when Joe Biden was vice president, they passed Obamacare and they said, you know, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. Wasn't true. They said if you like your health insurance, you can keep it. Wasn't true. They said the cost of health insurance would go down. Actually, when we took office, the cost of health insurance had doubled. And during the debate last Thursday night, Joe Biden actually said that not one single person with private health insurance had lost their plan under Obamacare. Truth is, 6 million Americans had their individual health care canceled when Obamacare took effect. And now Joe Biden has a plan to import a public option from Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All that would threaten the private health insurance of 180 million Americans. I mean, literally, he wants to take socialized medicine straight out of the core of Bernie care and put it into Obamacare. But I'm telling you, it would set us on an inevitable path to socialized medicine in America. But under President Donald Trump, we got rid of the individual mandate. We've been lowering the cost of health insurance without growing the size of government. We've lowered the cost of prescription drugs. We passed right to try. Medicare Premium Advantage plans have been reduced by 34% in cost. We're going to use the power of freedom and free markets to give Americans low-cost health insurance, and America will never be a socialist country. I mean, we're the most prosperous country in the history of the world because we're a nation founded on freedom and free enterprise and free markets. And under President Donald Trump, we're going to chart a course of freedom, bring this economy all the way back and then some. I mean, the truth is you got a choice to make. I think it's a choice between a Trump recovery and a Biden depression. I mean, a recent nonpartisan study came out and said that Joe Biden's economic policies, we'd lose 5 million American jobs, and the average family household income would drop by $6,500 a year. So every day for the next 10 days, you've got to talk to your family members and your neighbors and coworkers, and you've got to just ask this question. Who do you really think can bring this economy all the way back? A career politician who spent 47 years raising taxes, stifling our economy under an avalanche of red tape, or a proven job creator that's going to keep cutting taxes, rolling back red tape, and fighting for American jobs and American workers. We need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House to bring America all the way back. I'm telling you. So it's about prosperity and security. But I know what's animated this movement from early on is a support for the rule of law all across this country. And when it comes to the rule of law, first and foremost, I'm proud to report President Donald Trump has stood with the men and women who serve in law enforcement every single day. You know, you and I know what the President knows. And that is the men and women who put on the uniform of law enforcement are some of the best people in this country. And they deserve the respect of every American every single day. In fact, why don't you show these law enforcement officers around here how much you appreciate the job they do as they protect and serve our families. Heroes all. All my heroes wear uniforms. You know, the President and I will always support the right of Americans to peaceful protest. It's in our Constitution. But rioting and looting is not peaceful protest. Burning businesses is not free speech. Those who do violence to our citizens, our property, or law enforcement will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now, for months, all Joe Biden talked about was peaceful protesters, remember? All summer long, Joe Biden kept talking about peaceful protesters as people around this country were watching businesses in our communities literally burn to the ground. I was in Minneapolis standing with a wonderful African-American businesswoman named Flora Westbrook just a few short weeks ago. We were standing next to what used to be the salon she founded 35 years ago. An incredible woman. And she told me about a couple days after the killing of George Floyd, how she watched the violent protesters march closer and closer to the business that she had built every day for more than 3 decades until the night they burned her to the ground. You know, the truth is, Joe Biden would double down on the very policies that are leading to violence in America's cities. I mean, when you start to back off in support for those who protect and serve, you only embolden people who would do violence to our families and our communities. Now, Joe Biden explains it all by saying that he thinks that America is systemically racist. He says that police officers in this country have a, quote, implicit bias against minorities. When Joe Biden was asked if he'd cut funding to law enforcement, he said, yes, absolutely. And his running mate, Kamala Harris, recently praised the mayor of Los Angeles for cutting $150 million out of the LAPD. Let me make you a promise. Under President Donald Trump, we're going to back the blue. We're not going to defund the police, not now, not ever. And we're going to have law and order in every city, in every state in this nation for every American of every race and creed and color. So help us God. So we've stood with those who stand for our law and order. But we've also strengthened the foundations under the law. As I stand here today, I'm proud to report President Donald Trump has already seen more than 230 men and women confirmed to our federal courts at every level, and they are all principled conservatives who will uphold all the God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution, like the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. It's true. Now, last month, we rightly paused as a nation to honor the life and service of the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But when the memorials were over, President Trump fulfilled his duty under the Constitution. And he nominated a principled, brilliant, conservative woman to the Supreme Court of the United States, Judge Amy Coney Barrett. Isn't she great? And not just because she's from Indiana. She's an amazing jurist. She's going to do an incredible service to the nation. Now, the President and I, from very early on, we called on Democrats to give Judge Barrett a respectful hearing this time around. But we had reason to be concerned. You might remember when she was confirmed to the Federal Court of Appeals a couple years ago, members of the Judiciary Committee actually attacked Judge Barrett for her Catholic faith. In fact, the leading Democrat on the Judiciary Committee said she was concerned about Judge Barrett's religion because she said, and I quote, "The dogma lives loudly within you." And Hollywood elites have been criticizing Judge Barrett's faith ever since. Well, I've got news for the Democrats and their friends in Hollywood. That dogma lives loudly in me. That dogma lives loudly in you. And the freedom to live and worship according to the dictates of our faith lives loudly in the Constitution of the United States of America. So the Senate's going to finish their work on Monday. And you know, as Vice President, I'm President of the Senate. And I'm going to be in the chair because I wouldn't miss that vote for the world. And I'll make you a prediction. Come this Monday night, Judge Amy Coney Barrett is going to be Justice Amy Coney Barrett. We're going to fill that seat. And before I go one step further, I have to tell you, 230 conservative judges, soon to be 3 justices on the Supreme Court, would not have been possible without the strong and consistent support of Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott. We couldn't be more grateful. But speaking of the Supreme Court, you know, all of you that came out in the rain tonight deserve to know. After 150 years with 9 judges on the Supreme Court of the United States, leading Democrats in Washington are talking about adding seats to the Supreme Court, packing the court with liberal activist judges who will legislate from the bench. It's true. Now, first, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris refused to simply answer the question. I tried a couple of times to get Kamala Harris to answer the question during our debate. Then, Joe Biden said that he'd tell the American people after Judge Barrett is confirmed next week. But now, Joe's calling it a live ball. And he says he's going to tell the American people whether he'll pack the court months after the election. Well, come on, man. The American people deserve a straight answer, Joe. When you're running for the highest office in the land, you ought to tell the American people if you respect the highest court in the land. You know, look, I mean, we all know what's going on here, don't we? I mean, I was born in the morning, but not yesterday morning. I mean, they're not answering the question because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to pack the court with liberal activists if they win this election. That's why we're not going to let it happen. We're going to re-elect President Donald Trump and a Republican majority in the Senate for 4 more years. Because, you know, when you're talking about the court, you're talking about your liberties and your freedoms. Really and truly. Everything that's enshrined in the Bill of Rights is protected by our judiciary, ultimately. You all deserve to know here in Florida that our liberties have been at risk. When Joe Biden was vice president, we actually saw a steady assault on the freedom of religion of the American people. We saw the conscience rights of doctors and nurses and religious charities eroded. And when Joe Biden was vice president, they actually hauled a group of nuns into federal court to force them to compromise their faith to conform to the mandates in Obamacare. But President Donald Trump, right out of the gate, we restored the conscience rights of doctors and nurses and teachers and religious charities. And President Donald Trump ended the assault on the Little Sisters of the Poor, and the Supreme Court made it permanent. President Donald Trump will always stand for the freedom of religion of every American of every faith. And when we think about our most cherished freedoms of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris support taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth, they're calling for record increases in funding for abortion at home and abroad. President Donald Trump, he reinstituted the Mexico City policy to make sure no tax dollars go to promote abortion anywhere in the world. He signed a bill to let states defund Planned Parenthood. President Donald Trump is the most pro-life president in American history. So in our first 3 years, we rebuilt our military, revived our economy, we stood for law and order, liberties, and life. And none of that would have been possible without the strong and consistent support of Florida's Republican delegation to Congress. It's true. So men and women of the Panhandle here in Tallahassee, right after you re-elect President Donald Trump for 4 more years, we need to send Congressman Neil Dunn to a new Republican majority in the House of Representatives and retire Nancy Pelosi once and for all. Win the House. That's what I'm talking about. You know, when you look at all we were able to accomplish with the Republican House and the Republican Senate in those first 2 years, Neil will tell you. There's only one way you can describe it. In those first 3 years, we made America great again. We did. And then 2020 arrived, and the coronavirus struck from China. But I'm here to tell you, before the first documented case of community transmission in the United States, President Trump did what no American president had ever done. He suspended all travel from China, the second largest economy in the world. Now, Joe Biden called that xenophobic. He did. He actually said it was hysterical. He actually wrote in USA Today a couple of days before the president took action that closing off travel from any country in the world in a pandemic would, quote, make things worse. But I'm here to tell you, as head of the White House Coronavirus Task Force these last 8 months, Joe Biden got it wrong. President Trump's action shutting down all travel from China bought us invaluable time to stand up the greatest national mobilization since World War II, and it saved countless American lives. In that time, we reinvented testing. We saw to the distribution and manufacture of billions of medical supplies. We went to work on therapeutics that, as we speak, are saving lives around America, and under Operation Warp Speed, we literally will have tens of millions of doses of the first coronavirus vaccine in the world before the end of this year. And I want to promise you, for all that Florida went through this summer, the Northeast in the fall, as we see cases rising across the heartland, we're going to continue to make sure that our courageous doctors and nurses in hospitals have all the equipment, all the supplies and medicines they need to give anyone struggling with the coronavirus the same level of care we'd want a family member and a loved one to have. Until that day that we have a vaccine available, we're going to keep working to slow the spread. We're all going to do our part to protect the vulnerable, to save lives. And as Joe Biden is talking about shutting down our economy again, we are opening up America. And we are opening up America's schools. You know, I'm proud to report to you that Mrs. Pence is already teaching back in the classroom at that little Christian school just outside Washington, D.C. And we're working round the clock to make sure that our teachers, administrators, school nurses have the testing and the supplies to get our kids back in the classroom where they belong and keep them there where they belong. It's true. But because of the strong foundation that we poured in those first 3 years, of less taxes and less regulation, because of the unprecedented recovery efforts for families and for businesses, $4 trillion made available, supported by your congressmen and others, secured by the president. In the last 5 months, as we've been opening up America again, we've seen 11.5 million Americans go back to work, including 600,000 people right here in the Sunshine State. And Florida can be proud of the job that all of you have done, putting the health of your family members and your neighbors first. But let me also say, the President and I couldn't be more proud and more grateful for the strong and compassionate leadership of Governor Ron DeSantis. So we passed through a time of testing for the course of this year, but we're soon coming to a time for choosing. And I know that's why you all came out in the rain tonight. Because you know, like I do, that the choice has never been clearer, but the stakes have never been higher. I mean, when you look at their agenda, the agenda that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris want to bring to the White House, higher taxes, open borders, socialized medicine, a Green New Deal, abortion on demand, defunding the police, and packing the courts. It's clear. Joe Biden would be nothing more than a Trojan horse for the radical left. He'd take our country somewhere we've never been before. Now, Joe Biden said democracy is on the ballot. Well, I think our economic recovery is on the ballot. I think law and order are on the ballot. But I also think there's things far more foundational to who we are as a nation that are on the ballot as well. You know, in this election, I think it's not going to be so much whether Florida and America are more Republican or more Democrat, more conservative or more liberal, more red or more blue. I think the choice in this election is whether America remains America. Whether we're going to chart a future, even in these challenging times, on our highest ideals of faith and family and patriotism and freedom, or whether we're going to let Joe Biden and the radical left take us down the path towards socialism, less freedom, and American decline. So let me just say to each one of you gathered here from my heart, for all the ideals that have always made America great, for the freedom that we cherish in this nation, we need to decide right here and right now that Joe Biden will never be President of the United States. We're going to re-elect President Donald Trump for 4 more years. The stakes are that high. The choice is that clear. And over the next 4 years, as the President says, we're going to make incredible progress as a nation. We're going to, first and foremost, we're going to distribute the vaccine and we're going to defeat the virus. We're going to put this pandemic in the past. We're going to maintain America's unrivaled military might and ensure peace through strength. We're going to bring this economy all the way back and then some and make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world and end our reliance on China. We're going to hire more police, increase penalties for those who harm our law enforcement, and we're going to ban sanctuary cities. We're going to appoint more conservatives to our courts to uphold life, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. And we will stop the indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to America's schools. As President Trump said at Mount Rushmore, we'll teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. I want to tell all of you, it is great to see you out tonight in Tallahassee. Thank you so much for coming out. I can't wait to tell him how many people came out in the rain just as hear his VP traveling around the country. It really means a lot to me. I'm very humbled and very grateful. You know, the President and I didn't know each other very well before he called me up and asked me to join this ticket. It's true. But, you know, we've gotten to know each other real well. I've served shoulder to shoulder with this president every day over the last 4 years. And, you know, some people think we're a little bit different. But we've gotten to be very close friends. We really have. And I can tell you firsthand, against unrelenting opposition by the Democrats in Washington, against unrelenting attacks from their allies in the mainstream press, there has never been a day gone by that President Trump hasn't gotten up and fought to keep the promises that he made to the people of this country. Now it's our turn to fight for him. It's on, Florida. It's time. So before I head back to the plane, I got a couple things I got to ask you to do over the next 10 days. First thing, I need you to vote, Florida. I need you to vote to re-elect President Donald Trump to the White House. It's job one. I heard the early voting has already started here. You might have seen the president voted here in the state of Florida earlier today. In fact, Karen and I just voted yesterday back in the Hoosier State. So you got to go get it done. And if you'd like to know where, I checked on the way here. You can go down to Leon County Courthouse, 301 South Monroe Street, right in the heart of Tallahassee. They are open 8 to 4. So first thing tomorrow, get up, go down, vote, and remember, friends don't let friends vote alone. Bring a family member, bring a neighbor, bring a coworker, and vote to re-elect President Donald Trump for 4 more years. That's it. That's what we're talking about. So after you've voted with a friend, I'd like to ask you to do one other thing that I know people across this country did 4 years ago and are doing again. That is, I just want you to go talk to somebody about why you came out tonight, why you feel so passionately about this president and everything that we've been able to accomplish together as a country. I mean, tell them what they're not hearing every day on most of their major cable television and national networks. Tell them how this president literally kept every promise he made to the American people, how he rebuilt our military, revived our economy, strengthened our courts and our liberties, stood with law and order, and saw our nation through the most challenging year in 100 years in this pandemic. Just go tell them. And tell them about the choice. Say, I was standing out in the rain and this big plane pulled up and Mike came out and he talked about what's at stake in this election. Because I'm asking you to do that because I honestly believe the most powerful media in America is now and always has been. Not your big TV networks, it's not your big newspapers, it's not even social media. The most powerful media in America is word of mouth. It's when someone who knows you and respects you hears from you about a candidate or a cause that you believe is important to them and their family. So I want you to reach out to your neighbors and friends and do just like you did in 2016. Tell somebody all across the great Sunshine State what 4 more years of President Trump is going to mean. You know, I was with the President the election night back in 2016. We were in New York City. We were in the campaign headquarters. They had all these big television sets up on the wall. And the President was standing here, and I was standing here. We were watching the returns come in. True story. My wife's right here, our kids. President's here, Melania, all the Trump family. And we stood there for hours watching the returns come in. You can, Google it and see a picture of it. It's a pretty cool shot. Anyway, while the returns were coming in, the President took to kind of tapping me on the shoulder and pointing at the screen. You know, when Indiana was first on the board, he went, boom, hey, Indiana's up. And I said, yeah. I said, bang, hey, South Carolina's up. I said, yeah. And then one state after another, he just hit me on the shoulder. But I got to tell you, when Florida came through, I thought he was going to knock me down. So men and women of Florida, you got to do what you did before. Go tell the story and drive a victory on November the 3rd. Because I want my arm to be sore again. I'm telling you, it was exciting. It was incredible what you all did. We saw you doing it, and we see you doing it again. And lastly, before I leave, I might ask you to do one more thing in the next 10 days. You know, I've traveled across this country over the last 4 years, and I'm more convinced than ever before of 2 things about America. Number one, that this is a freedom-loving nation. And I also can attest this is a nation of faith. It is. I mean, the sweetest words I ever hear when I'm traveling around America are the same for the President, is when someone will reach out over a rope line or stop you in an event. They lean in with a quiet word and say, I'm praying for you. And I hear it a lot. So does he. And so, if you're of a mind to bow the head and bend the knee from time to time, the next 10 days would be a good time to do it. And as you remember to pray, I encourage you to pray with confidence in those ancient words that Americans have clung to in much more challenging times than we could possibly imagine. Times of great national tumult and division, the founding of the nation, the world wars. They've clung to those ancient words that if his people who are called by his name will humble themselves and pray and turn, that he'll do like he's always done. In all those challenging times, he'll hear from heaven and he'll heal this land. This one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So pray for America. Pray for all the American people. It'll make a difference, I promise you. And I leave here today with renewed confidence that with this dedicated and soggy Tallahassee bunch, that if all of us do all that we need to do between now and November 3rd, we are going to have another great victory. All across Florida and all across America. And we're going to make Florida and America stronger than ever before. We're going to make Florida and America more prosperous than ever before. We're going to make Florida and America more united than ever before. And with Congressman Neil Dunn in a new Republican majority in the Congress, with President Donald Trump back in the White House for 4 more years, and with God's help, we will make America great again. Again. Thank you all very much. Thank you.